Ladies and gentlemen, if you are listening to this right now, asking yourself, what do the questions of the universe hold, then we must sadly tell you, we got nothing.
Greetings and salutations, my psychedelic children, my beautiful souls, and welcome once again into this expose in the art of conversation, We Got Nothing. I am your host, Catalyst Jost, coming at you once again from the beautiful sunshine wasteland of Central Florida, and I'm here today with a very special guest. She is a former co-worker over at the Hall in the Yard. If you want to know more about that shit, folks, please go peep the episode Whistleblowers with our good friends Sam and Ty, aka the Over Party. She has also been a mentor, especially in the restaurant industry. She is a badass. We have seen wars in terms of customer service. We've seen we've seen violence at times, and we have also been to some pristine locations in terms of music. So please help me welcome my good friend, my sister, Nani. What's good, dog?
What's good, dog? It's good to be here. Finally.
So how's your day going so far?
Chill. Just about like any other day in Sunshine State, right? Fucking a little extra, never goes on as planned, and the weather is always as predictable as possible.
Yeah, no, that was the biggest thing I had to like adapt to down here. That I had to live with the chaos, you know. And
didn't you live in Oh, well, you lived in upstate.
I did. And the thing is, I was so used to being cushy that like when I got down here, it was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And also the many adventures, like it's been so worth it. Like,
yeah,
you've seen many of those.
Florida's a different land, dog. Like Florida's a different world, low key. And you think like the thing is like it becomes the norm. I think you can relate to that and you can attest to that. It becomes the norm because like once you come down here, it's just like oh la la, and like low key it doesn't get as crazy anymore. It'll be super chill, and then it's like okay, here's one random day with a bunch of weird shit in it, and then you're just like, oh. Look at that homeless guy doing that thing again. Or just like, look at the gator, just might eat that dog. Don't know yet.
One thing I had to get used to were people actually coming up and saying, hi, how's your day going? Random strangers. I'm like, I'm sorry, did you just threaten me?
Yeah, no. And it doesn't happen often, so don't get used to that. I mean, the area you live in is a little different. You know what I mean?
You know, I say hi to some of these kids. Like, will say, I do like this new batch of people that we have here.
Yeah, no, I agree. 100%.
But at the same time, I'm just, like, every now and then I get an occasional NPC that'll just, like, that will either, like, completely ignore me or just give me a death stare. And I'm like, my guy, what the fuck are you on? Like, good. Yeah.
The antisocial kind.
Nah, I think after COVID, people like just started becoming more.
Please, people have been like that forever, bro. People are shitty. People are shit. Can be. People are shit.
I was about to say we're not shit.
I'm not shit. I mean, like, I'm generalizing everything.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm generalizing.
So, yeah, no, it was a big step forward, especially for a long time I was living a very sheltered life. Tell me, can you relate to that in any way?
Hell yeah. My parents were like, they came from Puerto Rico, already traumatized as fuck from Puerto Rico. Whether it's like home life, living in the ghetto, bro, like dead ass. I mean, I don't know if you heard about Puerto Rico right now, but they're legit areas that are like war zones, like in the hood and shit. Like,
well, I was actually hearing about that the other day because, like, with the influence of the Paul brothers there, like, it's almost like becoming Jamaica in some senses.
And it's not even just them. Like, this is the crazy shit is that it's all cartel. Like, you even have like some mafia type shit. But really, it's the government. Like, really, it's the government because Puerto Rico has no say in most of like the political decisions like that have to do with like I guess what really matters on the island. So like taxes or like how much money goes into education or how much money goes into the roads or how much money into like you feel me, like nothing that you have there like they have control of, and then they will elect officials that are siphoning money out of the government and into their pockets. And you know what I mean, like a few years ago they basically had a huge protest and made her resign Like, they made one of their presidents resign and share, like...
No shit.
Yeah, hell yeah, they fucking put pressure. They hit the streets, bro.
Now,
I'm
very ignorant to, the politics of how, like, because Puerto Rico's technically U.S. territory right now, so, like, how does that work in terms of, like, you know, like, because Puerto Rico has its own separate government, I imagine, but, like, it's a territory. Can you enlighten me?
It's even, like, a little mystery to me. Honestly, I'm still doing a whole bunch of research and shit like that when it comes to Puerto Rico. And instead of being ignorant or just, like, I don't know, spewing out false information or misinformation or approximate information, I'd rather just tell you exactly, like, you know what I mean? Like, look it up. I'm a huge fan of Google. Shout out Google. But when it comes to the government, I know that it's a commonwealth. They are self-governing, but they don't have a lot of, like, say. Again, they don't have a lot of say when it comes to, like, the control of the government and how they're run. Now, Puerto Rico is super odd because right now you have people that are... You have conservative Puerto Ricans that... Which makes no sense, by the way. Makes no fucking sense. You've got... Which are, like, the same people that will be Republican Puerto Ricans, which, again, make no sense because none of that money... Like, you have no control of the island. You have no money going to you. You have nothing with that party. They do not give a fuck. They do not care about you. You know what I mean? And then you have people... Like, Trump saying that he's going to build a wall around Puerto Rico. And we're like, big dog, we're in the ocean. Like, we are an island way off the coast. Like, way off the coast. So it's just like, it's just the ignorance behind it, and just like, they will pander for your vote, but they won't do anything to help you. It's just real self-hate, like, you know, colonized mindset. Then you've got people who want the Puerto Rico to become a state, which also makes no fucking sense, because then you lose all that self-governing. You lose all of that. You lose everything that makes us still, because, like, Puerto Ricans, since they became independent from Spain, and I guess even before that, if you really think about it, has been its own nation. It was its own nation. Okay. Like, it became independent from Spain, was its own country, had its own flag, and had its own currency. With that being said, they were given to the U.S. after Spain lost the Spanish-American War. Not, like wrongfully, because they were already independent. U.S. came in, obviously, the same way they did with Hawaii, and was like, yeah, give it up, bro. Like, you're outnumbered and outmatched, you know what I mean? It's like, and it was just, like, part two, you know what I mean? And they committed a bunch of, like, fertility experiments of, like, they would tell women that they would get free health care, and then put them under and scoop out their insides, just do fertility experiments, and they had no idea. So
that's
like,
crazy.
Yeah, dude, there's so much that people don't know, like, of the lore of Puerto Rico, like, in history of Puerto Rico, especially involving the U.S., involving Spain, involving all that shit. And it's like, there's even history between Japan and Puerto Rico, and Ireland and Puerto Rico.
No shit.
Super dope shit. Super cool. Like, later, I'll actually send you a couple links of, like, Puerto Rican history and stuff like that just kind of go in about everything. Super cool shit.
Well, actually, going off that topic, like, one of the biggest concerns with the election results is the state of women, and not just women's health, but women's rights in general nowadays. Now, being raised by a single mom for most of my adolescence, and also my experiences with my female friends, you being one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and hearing from some of my more conservative friends and family about, like, regarding defining what a woman is and classic characteristics, it's hard for me to agree with some of those statements because, one, being raised by a single mom who was working two jobs,
working her ass off, bro,
and still getting a degree in college and holding down an apartment with some help with family. But, like,
what's your favorite color?
I'll go with purple.
Purple?
We're changing the lights, folks. And it's a dope setup. But hearing from your experience and the experiences of our friends dealing with some of the more or less savory members of my gender, I just, like, I can't agree. And most people would be like, oh, but that's the outliers. It's like, yeah, maybe, but, like, I've been there and I've experienced that, and it's not an anomaly. Women are, like, have more power than people believe.
They have way more power. That's the thing. And like the only the only thing that makes people think that, or let's not say people. And you know what? Actually, let's say people, because society is also, you got to think about, society has been formed, like the social constructs, everything, gender norms, everything has been created by men, because up until, if you think about it recently, like the 1920s is when we could vote. Like you couldn't get a credit card out as a woman until the 70s. Like, you know what I mean? And so we didn't have a lot of say as to like how the fucking world works or how anything is like constructed. Like the women and I'd say the LGBTQ plus community has been like all that in lies with black and brown people. Let's start there. They have been the shift and the movement, the progression, the change of this isn't right, this needs to change. With that being said, we're all just kind of like trying to make everything, I guess, right, man. Like, and we're all still figuring it out. Like, I think everybody's still figuring it out, but there's always going to be a push as to what is the norm. So I always think that history is going to repeat itself. And I think that there's always going to be some kind of catalyst that has to bring change forward. So even though we move forward and we had a super progressive period, like in our times of whatever, there's always going to be a resurgence that's going to cause a bigger change. So right now, I feel like we are still in that period. Like we're back in that period. And you can honestly argue and say that like the catalyst was the first time Trump was elected, because it brought out all the cockroaches, it brought out all the bugs, the nastiness of like our society, where we thought shit's going good, shit's going great, everyone's progressing. And no, like there's still people out here that think these disgusting thoughts, that have disgusting fucking ideals, that have like different morality, and still want to act like they're good people. Like for example, when people are like, oh, we can disagree on our political parties and still be friends. No, we can't. Because if you don't agree with me having my own rights as a woman, you don't agree with people in my community, like trans people or gay people, having the right to like get married at the very least, but just exist without getting killed or harassed or whatever. The fact that 1 in 4 women have had some kind of sexual assault or harassment like experience, and that's just the reported numbers. Mm-hmm. It escalates like how broad and like how actually like big this issue is, and things have only gotten worse with everything that's been going on politically. Like then you have the spread of misinformation, and you've got, I wanted to touch on scare words or like scare phrases. Like
What are scare phrases?
it's just like, you know how like back then they'd be like communism, and that was a red scare, but like
Oh,
everybody
yeah, like
was
Marxist
afraid.
and all that
Exactly. So like the fear of like, for example, and a big example is communism. Like I wanted to touch that, is like everyone hears the word communism and has like a whole different definition of what actually communism is, and it's not anything that the government describes it as. Everything that the government describes it as is fascism. I guess mixed with like some socialism, but like the bad kind of socialism that have reached like authoritarian levels. Mm-hmm. And like honestly, if you read into communism, authoritarian and communism cannot coexist. It doesn't make sense. They've used, like the governments have used communism as a veil for their fascism and for their authoritarianism by saying that it's for everybody, but it's only one person making a decision. That doesn't make sense. Because communism is about community. It's about your commune. Like, you all make decisions together. You all work. And I'm digressing from that, but that's just an example of what it is. Like, everything everyone describes communism as is capitalism, is fascism, is like, oh, well, if I'm doing this thing, right? If I'm doing, like, if I gotta work or whatever, then I don't actually own my house. And I don't actually do... That's not how that works. You know what I mean? So, one of the scare words that, going back into the topic relating, is the transphobia hype of lately. So, like, the amount of people that actually come up to me and are like, I'm afraid this girl is a dude, or like whatever, because like they're afraid that a trans person won't tell them whether they're like actually trans, like, which in my opinion, if you don't tell somebody the truth about yourself and you let them find out on their own, I think that's deceiving, and I don't think that's right. I also understand from a perspective that trans people don't get treated fairly, and they get treated differently just for being themselves. So sometimes when they enjoy somebody's company, I can understand not wanting to like lose that. Like, and sometimes it's not the right decision, you know what I mean? But eventually most people will tell you. Like, the amount of people, like, I asked my friend this the other day. I was like, how many men do you know that have actually gone into a situation where they've taken a girl home and it's actually a dude and they didn't tell them and like, you know what I mean? And he was like, none. And I'm like, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I'm saying that like it's so minuscule, it's such a tiny thing, and people blow it out of proportion because they're afraid of some internal thing. Like, you know what I mean? That's gotta be you. Like, I'm being real, bro. I talk to a girl, I'm not thinking about, oh, what if they have a dick? I'm thinking about, bro, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get a girl. Like, you know what I mean? I'm focused on a girl. Like,
Well, it's so interesting because on that subject, you yourself are a part of the LGBTQ plus community.
Correct.
There's a mouthful right there.
oh, yeah.
There have also been rumblings, if you want to go for more the left side, there have also been rumblings that there are members of that group of people that are gay and not trans, and who believe that trans folk like kind of
yeah.
almost set them aside on the back burner.
They do.
And
It's fact. No, that's an actual fact, dude. Like, the amount of, like, transphobia that's in the gay community is fucking gross, dude. And if you look back, there's a show called Pose, and it's about trans people and, like, the gay community, but it's about trans people and, like, drag queens and all that of, like, the 80s. And it's in the middle of, like, the AIDS epidemic and, like, a bunch of shit. So it's, like, it gives a lot of reality as to how it was back then. But, and in that, it was a lot of spaces that didn't, like, especially gay, male, white spaces that did not allow lesbians into their circles. They didn't allow people of color into their circles. And then you had both spaces, less the black and brown community, that just didn't accept trans people. Like, they didn't accept someone that wanted to be a woman. And that just was ingrained in misogyny. Like, you know what I mean? That's like, it was ingrained in sexism, and it still is to this day. But, like, with that being said, I feel like those rights, like, all those problems, like, coincide because, like, you have to talk about what the definition of a woman is. And it's like, everything that everyone says, like, defines what a woman is not what a woman is. A woman is a woman, bro. Women are women. Some look more masculine. Some look more feminine. Some transition into being a woman. But it's like, if gender is a construct, right? And all of that is literally just to define femininity and masculinity and put it in colonized columns, because there are Native American communities that have trans people in their beliefs, man.
On that subject, like, say I'm stupid. Not even that. Say I'm a child and I'm pretty halfway smart. I can listen to like adult conversations properly, and obviously I wouldn't have any leanings on either or side of the fence. How would you talk to me if I asked the question, what is a woman? How would you go about that?
The thing is, it's such a broad question, and I guess I would start with what, like, the let's say the textbook definition of what a woman is, right? And all it is an adult female human being, right?
Okay.
In particular, bro, I just feel like if gender is a construct, you know, like, the only thing that really can be proven that exists is femininity and masculinity, right? Mm-hmm. And in nature, you have animals that transition, right? Like, seahorses end up being the ones that are pregnant and giving birth. There are fish, and, like, I think it's fish or, like, some other kind of, like, squid or something like that. They transition into women at some point, like, to reproduce, bro. Nature finds a way. Nature will always find a way. You've heard of, like, the gay penguins that I think they just just passed away, but, like, there were gay penguins. It's just like, this is normal shit, dude. Like, people just, like, man, you got a colonized mindset. You've got, like, society that taught you one thing. A lot of it's, like, religiously ingrained, you know? But it's, like, I feel like right now it's a pretty shitty time for women. We don't have control of our bodies. Like, we're being pushed back into, like, the whole what women should be doing. Like, they're not getting married, they're not having kids, they're not this and that, their career, God forbid they focus on their career. Like, it's just,
don't get no ideas. It pollutes your womb.
well, if you think about it, bro, it's because, like, the women becoming independent. I guess women, like, realizing their strengths, realizing, like, how they have power, realizing that they're equal, realizing that they have a voice. and moving towards that, realizing I don't have to get married. I don't have to have kids. I don't have to do any of these things that anyone tells me I have to do. And then our birth rate is declining because we can't afford it. And now the government suddenly wants to come in and impede on our protected. It was protected. It wasn't, I don't think they coded it. They should have. But our protected right to, let's just say reproductive rights, right?
Reproductive rights.
Because there was another word I was thinking of. But we're losing that reproductive right just in the midst of our birth rate declining.
And here's the thing about it, like
that's not a coincidence, bro.
Yeah, no, and here's the thing about it. The whole thing about abortion, I think that's one of the only, I mean, if you look at it, I'm sure there's other examples, but like I think that's one of the biggest main examples of where they say separation of church and state, but the whole thing against it is ingrained in religious ideologies. So which one is it?
Yeah, no, it's it's all some sick shit, dude. And it's all about control, if you really think about it. It's all about control, and then if you're thinking about it, like, again, yeah, there's no way that's a coincidence, my guy. Like, you know, we're declining as a country in terms of people, and they need people. They need that. Like, so now we're forced to reproduce. It's crazy.
And it makes you wonder why people, like, are extremely angry and like they feel like they can't do anything, so they turn naturally to vices. Some will do sex work. Some will like do activist work, but more like just break shit instead of like.
Yeah, I guess like more radicalized. I mean that comes from every corner though. Like, because if you think about it, like the Black Panthers, they kind of just were one in eight. I shout out the Black Panthers, bro. Like, I just gotta say, they were the real badasses, just like the gays of back then, the LGBTQ, that, weren't afraid. I mean, they were afraid. That's the thing. They weren't afraid, but they did it anyways, and they rioted for their rights. You know what I mean? They got their asses beat. They went to jail. They got killed. Like, they were fighting the government. Literally, like, the Black Panthers were on that same path, and I just feel like we are reaching a point that it's getting to that point again, where there was like modern warfare with the government, because enough is enough. You know what I mean? So they were brave enough to go through all that for all of us to have the rights that we have now. And I feel like we're slipping. We're going back into whatever, because history will repeat itself. And power, like, no matter who's in power, is like, it always ends in abuse. Like, there's such a small number of people that don't let power get to them and that don't abuse their power. And it's like the reason why checks and balances was even created in the first place, and why there were short terms created, because and like other factions of the government being able to be like, hold on now, you got too much dip on your chip, you're doing too much, like, and we've lost that. And then with that, and I'm not gonna go conspiracy, because it's not a conspiracy, it's just fact, the amount of money that's been being taken from our education system that has slowly made us fucking dumber, to the point where we don't even realize, bro, our education system might be ass. And I think our generation is learning that now. Our education system might be ass, but you've got a computer in your hands, bro. You've got all this endless information at your fingertips, and you don't even use it. Like, you know what I mean? Well, Google is free. Shout out Google.
Well, I think part of the problem is also it's extremely difficult, because we are flooded with information, but we have very few ways to discern what is the truth and what is not.
I mean, the thing is, there's always... I've been taught in school. Like, I've been taught in school since we stopped going to the library as much. Like, right? Start going to the library. You have to, filter out information and see what's the truth and what isn't the truth and what's a lie and what isn't. And, like, in school, they still taught me that, bro. And not everybody has those resources, bro. I'm not going to lie and say that I didn't go to a really, really, really good high school, like, into my junior year, because my dad got a really good opportunity to be, like, tattoo artist, tattooing in Maryland, and in one of the richest areas. And so, like, I'm not going to say that I didn't go to a really good school 2 years, like, my last 2 years of high school, and I didn't, like, learn a lot of things at that point that I probably wouldn't have gotten here or anywhere else that had less money in their education. But there's still resources in all this, you know what I mean? Like, Google is free, dog. Like, if you don't know how to do something, then look it up. Like, and that was one of the things that they taught us. Like, if you don't know something, look it up, dude. Like, and if you don't go based off the first page or pages like Wikipedia that can be edited and changed, even if that, like, you need somewhere that has sources cited and cross-referencing. Go through a bunch of different articles and see what is the same.
Well, I think part of the problem is also that, like, even with the resources, the treasure trove of information that is available to us right now, I think part of it is there is still a lot that is kept from us. Because, going off of education, for one example, us being public school kids, we definitely learn the mathematic tables, the periodic table, and history here and there. But I've also, since working at my job, have talked to people who have gone to private schools.
Hell yeah.
And
they got bread to learn, bro.
Dude, the way they learn stuff about math and finances far exceeds, is so much more superior than the education that we got.
Yeah. What percentage of people are actually going to private school versus public school?
Well, and that's what I'm talking about.
And then think about that, and then think about, usually that means income, and everything in this country, the more money you got, the better you got it. The better you have it. And I'm not even saying that that's even true, because like I said, I lived in a rich state and I went through hell and back there. And it's because everyone has money, but they're still miserable. You know what I mean? Everyone is miserable, so there's drugs easily accessible, so everybody's on drugs, and then everybody's on, you know what I mean? They're either hooked on some shit. The amount of people that I know have died out there versus died out here, especially off overdoses, is insane.
Where do you think, where do you believe the pattern of addiction comes from, and why people always chase after the dragon instead of trying to seek help or possibly something more alternative that's healthy?
I don't think people look for it, if that makes sense. I feel like it shows up, and it's always going to be around no matter what. Vices are always going to be around. Whether it's it could be drugs, you feel me? It could be drugs, it could be alcohol. Some people fucking drown themselves in food, bro. You ever seen shows like My 300-Pound Life and shit? You know what I mean? It's and that could be stress, that could be low self-esteem, that could be literally anything, bro. Poor coping mechanisms. I feel right now we are at the time, obviously we're in late stage capitalism, so we are all experiencing financial problems, and then that all leads to emotional problems. And when you don't have access to a doctor, you don't have access to a therapist, and you don't know how to cope because you've never been taught, what are you gonna do except go and be around people that you know, and then they've got vices, and that's all you see and that's all you do? Or people that have been on the opposite, they're they've never had drugs or alcohol or anything addictive in their life, and they've never been taught about it. They've been kept in the dark. There's no drug. Drugs are bad, but you don't know that they're actually fucking amazing until they're not amazing anymore, and you're stuck in the loop. You know what I mean? Nobody explains that to a lot of people, in schools and places that aren't the city and places that don't have good funding. You know what I mean? People don't learn about this stuff. So it's how are you supposed to fight abuse you have no idea about? You know?
And the thing about it is the help that could be properly administered, the qualitative help, it's all locked behind paywalls, massive, mighty paywalls.
The thing is, now in schools, I feel in communities that are less fortunate. For example, my mom stays in Kissimmee. I stayed there in Kissimmee for a few years before I moved out here. You know that. And I grew up there, almost my entire life before Maryland. Maryland was 6 years. So I know Kissimmee, very low income, has been low income, especially certain spots. Those areas are the ones that help the less fortunate the most. Those are the ones that build community centers, have nonprofits, have food banks. You know what I mean? Take time out of their day to take donations and help people that are doing their, at their worst. You know what I mean? So, and that actually helps people. The amount of, places, I can't think of one of them, and I would love to shout them out right now. It's it's a nonprofit organization that does they have a food bank, or no, they don't have a food bank, but they have a mart, a little market of things that are super cheap, like essentials and stuff like that. They have a market that has like food that is donated or given out that's like from like Starbucks or like other companies and stuff. Fruit, food like for stupid cheap that of people that are in need. And they have a resource center where if you don't have a job, you don't have a home, you don't have anything, you can go there, you can use their computers to apply for jobs and stuff like that. The one I do remember is the center. Shout out the center in Orlando on Mills. It's a LGBTQ plus community nonprofit organization that helps people with like find a job, education, food bank, like everything. Like youth that is struggling with either their home life and like they're in danger in that sense, or like they ran away and they have nowhere to go, they have no resources, they have nothing, like, you know what I mean, like they are places in the community that help more than the government, more than all these places that have money, because it, I don't know, dude, like they're a community, and that is the only reason why people don't fall deeper into the hole of addiction, into the hole of like, and again, homelessness, like that also leads to addiction. And people are like, well, why would you not spend the money that you have on your essentials? Because, bro, people don't know, like, I've been homeless, like, and it's like not, I can't say homeless moments like on the streets, but I used to live in my car and like couch hop and stuff like that. And I'll tell you right now, it feels the fucking same when you've got $0 in your bank account. Like, you don't have money for gas to move anywhere. Like, you can only just sit in the car in the fucking cold in the winter and have your AC on, your heat on. But guess what? This is my home. And I've got my own spot, my own space, and I'm at peace. Like, you know what I mean? With that being said, there are times where, like, that really gets to you. And it's like, you're thinking about, like, how hard everything is, how stressed out you are, how whatever. Why wouldn't I spend the $5 that I have on some fucking weed or whatever the fuck to self-medicate to deal with my being homeless? Like, you know what I mean? Those $5 are going to go to some bullshit anyways. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, people don't really think about these things because they've never been in that position. And they don't care to because they don't want to. Like, you know, like that. I'm not saying everybody, but like that's just how it is. Like that's just how people are, unfortunately.
Because that's the thing. Like you see a lot of moguls. Oh yeah, thank you for the inspiration of me dressing as Andrew Tate this year.
Shout out, bro. Because honestly, dude, it needed to be done and it was so good.
Oh my god, I still.
Fuck Andrew Tate, by the way.
Yeah.
Unshout out Andrew Tate.
Yeah. But well, actually, that's the thing. Like, his business is preying upon these incels or these people who are undereducated.
Can I just say it's not even that? It's like at the same time you're preying on a certain community because it's like there's a line between like crossing to, let's say it's an incel, you know what I mean, and just being a male of whatever age group that feels unsupported, feels unloved, has low self-esteem, is uneducated, not uneducated like they're stupid, but uneducated like they're ignorant because they want to blame the world for their problems instead of just realizing that there's fundamentally something wrong with the way that they're going about their life with themselves, and it usually stems from just lack of self-respect, lack of self-love, so like lack of consideration for yourself, self-destructiveness, which is like all tied into all different kinds of mental illnesses and all different kinds of whatever. It's just like the different directions that it goes in. So when you have young, impressionable, insecure males, like, you know what I mean, that are going to the internet looking for, like, and let's say they don't have a father figure. We don't talk about the daddy issues that come from men, like, because they don't have stable father figures in their lives and their moms are coddling them. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, that's part of the problem. It's like, then, and you can't even blame the mothers because it's like, damn, dude, you don't have a dad and I feel fucking bad and I'm never home because I've got to work for you. Like, you know what I mean? It's like that does something to somebody, you know what I mean? That does something to kids. It's like the only person you have on the internet is someone that's telling you that you are in your power or whatever, but they're doing it by tearing somebody else down. And how would you know the difference of like being arrogant and being like and narcissistic in that essence versus truly being confident and realizing that like you don't, if you're really confident, there's no competition. You know what I mean?
There it is.
Like there's no competition because I'm not competing with you because there's nothing to compete for. I'm on my own path, you're on your own path. If people don't like you, bro, why are you competing with dude because he gets girls? Maybe just put it out there. Maybe there's something wrong with you. And not wrong, but there's something internally that you need to work on. Maybe you're not this picture perfect person that deserves to be spoken to by women. Like, if women don't talk to you, it's because you're fucking weird. There's something up, bro. Because 9 times out of 10, bro, women will come up and like and be friends with anybody, and I'm not generalize, but like people like women feel unsafe around men, and they will get attacked for saying that they feel unsafe around men. And I can agree to an extent when they say that just depends on the people you're putting yourself around. Absolutely, 100% that has to do with it, but it's not all of it. There are people that I've thought I could trust that have been around me, and we could talk about the hall with that one. I'm not gonna name drop. I don't want to get sued. As you would.
Well, before you go off on that, because that's going to be a rant. Where I was going with that was like, the problem is Andrew Tate and all those other like pickup artist moguls.
They're scammers too.
But the problem is they're the only ones attempting to like, and I say this loosely, help these guys try to try to teach.
They're honestly, it's disgusting the way they're scamming them, but like, and that's what I mean is like you're scamming them because you're making them feel like you're gonna help them become like these alpha macho men. That doesn't exist, bro. Like, you feel me? Like, the Andrew Tate character is fake. You know what I mean? He has all this shit. He might rent that shit. Who fucking knows? He might actually have that shit. But he got that money by scamming kids and telling them that he can make them feel like they are on top, like they are actually the best, to give them like make them like me. Like some dude that's confident and honestly just acts like a fucking dickhead, but that looks like confidence to somebody who's never seen it.
And the problem is
you're making money off that.
Yeah, but the problem goes back to like the people who are actually qualified that can actually help these groups of people. They're not doing shit. Or again, it comes back to it. It's locked behind paid walls with no advertisement.
You know what it is though? I have seen pages like, and it's like, hey, I'm not saying that it's a lot. I'm saying that it's definitely coming out more though. There's a guy on YouTube that is like, I don't remember what his name is, but he's doing God's work right now. He is a page where he teaches you how to do things like everyday things around the house and things that your dad should have taught you for people that never have a father, or their father is no longer in their life. You know what I mean? So like, and it's literally just says like, I'm the dad for people that never had one, and like post things like how to change your oil, like how to like fix a sink, like in terms of like maybe like fixing drywall, like, you know what I mean, like learning how to do this, learning how to do that. And it's like the people are out there, bro, but unfortunately negativity
and
that shock value, like, you know what I mean, it's like, oh my god, look at this thing, instead of looking at like the positive and spreading like the positive of like, hey bro, like this guy helps people do blah 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 blah, you're looking at, oh, look at this ignorant ass dude, or this guy speaking facts, and it's like, you feel me, like bringing people down instead of focusing on shit for yourself. Like that, I think a big problem with that is like people don't know how to focus on themselves.
No, they know how to focus on their egos, which
and redirection, man. Blaming everybody else.
Which I think we can go off on that topic that you were about to discuss, because like one of the.
I wasn't even gonna go into it like that.
Oh really?
I was just gonna say that that's one thing, like an example of somebody that you thought you could trust. You know what I mean? Someone that was supposed to be your brother and all this shit, and then they like are fucked up, or they're in a bad place or whatever, and they just revert right back to those behaviors that are not really someone that a brother nor someone's even a friend would do. And it's like not physical comments, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. And it's like, how am I supposed to trust you, bro? Like, how am I supposed to trust anybody? And then you want to talk about, oh, well, women this and women that. And it's like, oh, I was raised, like, and again, there's far and few men that have been raised by women that actually respect women. Like, and I'm saying that as like, whatever, you are one of them, 100%. But like, it's very far and few, and I say that because the amount of men that I've had come up to me and say, oh, well, I was raised by women, so like, I respect women and all this shit, and then don't respect women because, unfortunately, a lot of women that have been put in that position don't respect themselves and don't love themselves, and literally take whatever love will walk in the door and then coddle their sons and let them let them disrespect them because that's what they're used to. Like, no, you don't. Like, you have the respect that your mom had for herself, for women. You know what I mean? And that's not all of them. There were a lot of women that I know that, a lot of men that I know that have had moms that are baddies, that are absolute baddies. They're badasses. They got it done. They don't take no shit. You know what I mean? But it's like, very far and few, and like it's sad, and at this point like I take it with a grain of salt every time. Like you have to prove, like everything you got to prove it to me, you know what I mean? And it's in how you interact with women, it's in how you treat your female friends, it's in how you treat your mom, it's in how you treat potential partners or like people that you're interested in. It's just, it all depends on how you act towards them, how you speak to them, how you whatever. So like a lot of times that's a red flag for me when they're like, oh yeah, well I was raised by a woman. So pause, because you've said nothing except for like the fact that like women should be submissive to men. Already lost me with that one. Already lost me. Or how about the yeah, you're a lesbian but you all want a man at the end of it. Wrong. Like at the end of the day you all still just want a man. That's why you like blah 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 about like using like dildos or like strap-ons or whatever. And I'm like, my guy, you think that being in love with men has anything to do with your dick? Like, this is crazy, dude. Like, you think like bro, sex is sex and love is love. So it's like, you know, anybody can get fucked. Anybody can fuck you. That shit's got nothing to do with it. It's what's attached to that pee-pee. Bro, it's what's attached to that. That, like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's really, really delusional and egotistic to think that women want to be with them just purely for the sex when half of them can't even get women off. Like, you know, it's crazy. And bro, and like the subject of how many men are actually in the closet and gay, like, and not like, you know what I mean, it's not whatever, like how homoerotic men actually are. Like, I could go, I'm not going to, not on this one. Like,
well,
we'll get into a separate, it's a whole thing, bro. It's
the Spartans thing. That, like, the Roman Empire,
part of it.
that everyone loves about, they,
yeah, dude.
There's a reason they don't exist anymore, because, like, they...
Hey, bro, okay, alright. There's a lot of reasons why those societies don't exist anymore, and part of it is because they were fucking thousands of years old. And societies are meant to end. You know what I mean? But, God, bro, like, the delusion in society of like how straight they think they are is crazy. Because when you look at gladiator movies and like action movies and shit, what do you see? Like who watches those? First of all, who watches those most? Men, right? Okay. So in every single movie, do you ever see any, like, besides a baddie that doesn't talk, you feel me? You just got a piece of ass is for them, right? You got a piece of ass on screen, and everyone else is some hunky, fucking built, strong, you with the shirtless scenes, and I'm like, girls ain't watching this. Y'all watching this. So, like, I'm a little confused right now. This is all, like, catering to men. You know what I mean? And whether you're fantasizing about being that, or whether, like, you low-key are attracted to that, because let me tell you right now, as somebody who's questioning, I mean, I think I've been gay my entire life. My parents told me that. As somebody who at the time, you know, was figuring out for myself, because it was never pressured upon me, like, and never shamed, like, on me, but I was like, bro, do I want to be this girl, or do I want to fuck her, bro? I don't know. Like, you know, so it's like that confusion is there. So it's like, if I'm sure about myself now because I explored it. But as someone who's never, and then you're trying to tell me, no, I'm not gay, but, like, you know what I mean? It's like, or when people are like, I have a celebrity, like not a celebrity crush, but it's like someone that, like someone that you would fuck if you were gay. You know what I mean? When they're like, oh, I'm not gay, but, you know, if Channing Tatum, and it's like, pause, bro, because, like, even I, like, as someone who, I guess, umbrella term identifies as a lesbian, because it's easier than explaining that I don't, like, it's not that I don't care, but, like, I figured out that, like, you know, again, sex is sex to me, and, like, love is love. I don't, like, I figured out I cannot love a man. I just, literally, there's no emotion there. Nothing. But, like, when I was in a really bad time, and, like, couldn't be with a girl because of a really bad breakup, and I was in my addictions at the time, like, especially then, so being intoxicated, like, let me be me freely, I suppose. And I would be with men, like, it wasn't a long period, let me tell you that. But I would be with men, and, like, you know, it was whatever to me. Like, I didn't really, like, feel anything except for, like, you know, like about it, it was like a matter of like, you know, sex is just sex. You know, it is what it is. I don't like you though. Like, you feel me? Like, I don't like you. And if I was sober, I wouldn't even be doing this. Like, you know what I mean? But there's people that can't do that. You know what I mean? And that's
Right.
like that's their preference. That's why I said I'm like, I used to identify as pansexual, but it's like, being real, I don't like men. Like, you feel me? Like, I just don't like them. Like, I don't have feelings for them. Like, I don't get crushes on them. Like, I be looking at the physique and I'm like, bro, I kind of want to look like you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can look at somebody and say you look attractive because you have attractive qualities. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm not gonna like sit here and be like, oh yeah, I only like girls. I'm only attracted to girls. Like, you know what I mean? It's like there is something attractive about the male form, but like to me, it's like really more of like, I guess, admiration. Like, I literally, and that also, I am in a sense non-binary. Like, in a sense, I'm non-binary. Like, that's how I identify. Because as a child, even I didn't identify with being a woman, but I didn't identify with being a guy. I always just felt like there's something like right in between that, like, and I didn't believe in gender like that. So it's like, I feel like the androgyny, like, all that is what I like, is what I identify with. Like, I feel like I'm gender fluid in that sense. Like, that fluidity of today I feel more masculine, tomorrow I might feel more feminine. Like, you know what I mean? I appreciate both, and it's why I'm a feminist. It's why, like, I'm a hardcore feminist, like, intersectional, because if the gays and the trans women and everybody ain't free, ain't nobody free. Like, it's just, it stems from that, like, as well, being like, I care about the person, you feel me? I don't care about this, but there's still a reason why gender and all these things, and there's these categories and things, it's because there's still preference. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
I can't form those feelings for men. But, like, if I had to and I needed to have my needs met, I would still really need to get fucked up to go do that. Which is why I'm like, I can't say I'm pansexual, because it's just not. It's not a thing.
Well, going off of this subject, and here's the perfect transition to it. Now, I was
Cheers, dog.
cheers. I was talking to you before about like our varying music tastes. Now,
Oh, yeah.
like I came up and asked the subject of like what is it called, EDM. Now, I'll say this personally, like I'm thankful for the many adventures we've had, like different places we've gone to, and
That's
like
one way to
different
put it.
different festivals and
That
whatnot.
is one way to put it.
But I never minded it because I was always with you guys, and like you guys were always brought the hype. But I've never, I don't go out of my way for EDM music, if that makes sense. You know, like I don't mind lo-fi beats, like
Yeah, lo-fi beats are
dude,
dope.
those
I
are
think
the
that was like my intro into
that's the
EDM for real.
perfect. That's the perfect music for meditation, tripping, sex. Like it's
Or even just like you said, studying, like studying lo-fi beats,
Yeah, no.
cleaning, bro. Like, it's something to just say, yeah.
So, what is it about? What is it about?
How do you feel about vaporwave, real quick?
I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
I'll show you at some point. Bet. Okay. Bet.
What is it about EDM that is so popular as opposed to a lot of other genres in the past? You know?
I think it's an emerging. Okay, to start, I don't put, like, even though I guess it technically falls into the genre. I've never counted like techno or house into the EDM genre, because EDM, I feel like, was the thing. I feel like electronic music started really blowing up. Back then it was just like electronic dance, like, you feel me, or just like dance music. I think it's just like the broader it got, the more it got categorized into one label, which is fine, because that's like just how music works. That's just how genres work. But there's so many subgenres inside of this one genre, and it's like, I guess that's what makes it. That's what makes it huge. Is like, if you think about it, when rock was emerging, like, rock had so many different subgenres, which kept it like so popular for so fucking long. Like, pop is another one. Pop has so many subcategories that, like, and subgenres that made it, like, you know what I mean, like, made it popular for the longest of times, like, and still is popular. Like, rock had a shift because of hip hop, and hip hop was considered a new genre, and they had their subcategories and their subgenres. So it's like as humans, we're gonna find something or create something, and then go through every single channel, go through every single possibility, go through every single thing to expand this thing, like, and make it, make it different, or just like, I found this sound, like, you know what I mean? Like, you have that dark pop that's turned into, like, in the 80s, like, new wave. Boy, that's my shit. Boy, that's my shit. And, like, that goes into, like, the whole gothic, like, you feel me? Like, the sense, like, it's just a different vibe. You could listen to, say, Journey is still considered pop, like, because it was pop of the 80s, like, bro, like, Journey, or, like, Madonna, bro, like, you feel me? But then you listen to, like, Depeche Mode. Bitch, that is not the same. Like, and not to say they haven't had a couple little pop songs, because, like, they kind of do, but it's, like, that dark, synthy, like, and it's still pop. All I ever wanted, all I ever needed. Like, you know what I mean? It's, like, it doesn't give the same vibe. Like, so it's, like, we get interested, get caught up, and, like, experience all those new things. So, like, new things are coming out, right? You got hip-hop. Then you had EDM, and it's, like, with technology and everything else, that's when we started playing with, you know what I mean? You start playing with everything, and now you've got it at your fingertips, because we have things like FL Studio, then we had like Ableton, you got Pro Tools, you got Logic, like, you know what I mean? You've got all these different DAWs in your hands, bro, like, on a computer that everybody has now, like, you know what I mean? You can have it on your phone, you can do it GarageBand on your fucking iPhone, dude. It's like, you have so much at your fingertips that, like, now, back then, you had to literally either know somebody or find, like, you literally work to find a connection to get you into the music industry, to be able to see a fucking studio, if you didn't have somebody in your family or somebody that you knew that had something minor in their possession. But, like, if you didn't have a fucking studio, you didn't have shit, you know? So now you can make a studio in your house. You've got things at your fingertips, and now you don't need a label and all this stuff to make music, even if it's, the most little basic things. Like, if you got a little money, like, you get some, like, you start your music, the basic stuff, you get a little bit of money, you get these different, like, plugins and stuff like that give you, like, studio quality, or, like, studio tools, like, you know what I mean? So you can make this at your fingertips, you know what I mean? And EDM never really had, like, I guess it's never been huge like that, so you never had people, like, in labels looking for DJs, so it's always stayed underground, it's always stayed on the internet, it's always stayed in the fingertips of the artists in the community. Now, just like everything else, it becomes commercialized, because people are like, oh my god, it's a festival, yeah. And, like, I'm not saying they don't deserve it, like, but like anything, it's gonna reach that point. Just like now we have all these subgenres of EDM, where you've got, like, it started with house and techno. Shout out the Black and the Brown Queers once again, for creating a music genre and it flourishing. Like, and a lot of that started was like the best songs, bro, struggle songs. Like, you feel me? Like, you got songs about, like, just sad ass shit, and then you're in the club dancing to it because it's like a banging beat behind it, and it's like, that's how you, like, dealt with your stress, I guess. Like, a lot of people were stressed out, and they would just go to the club to go dance it off, like, you know what I mean? Like, so it was, that is still what we're doing now. People are so stressed the fuck out that indulging has become,
especially now,
skyrocketed, and, like, that's why, like, again, the fall of an empire is, like, it has a very few signs, just like Rome. When it was collapsing, there was excessive partying, like, the religious, like, I guess, like, panic and, like, hype or whatever the fuck was through the roof. Sexual activity, like, orgies and shit, through the fucking roof. Like, there was just, like, chaos. Like, there was a bunch of shit going on before the fall of an empire. Like, you feel me? And so right now we're in that phase. Like, you see, we're partying all the time. You got festivals all the time. So now it's, like, the time for EDM to shine on top of that. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, people are indulging more. What do you do at a festival? Not like everybody. And there's a community now way more that are promoting sober festivals, sober just for their music.
I saw that
mocktail bars, ago. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it is becoming a thing. I'm not taking that away. But what I'm saying is, like, what people mostly go there to do is to let loose, indulge, lose themselves in the music, and lose themselves in the feeling because of their stress and everything else.
Yeah, no, that's it right there. I think, like, one of its biggest like components that makes it so popular is that it's that kind of the way that the music, the vibrations are literally vibrations, is to de-stress and just like be active in your body. And I think that's where I kind of find my own disconnect with due to my own
It's atmospheric too, like if you think about it. Like if you're somebody that thinks a lot and like and I guess you don't let, like, I don't let loose easy. Like, you feel me? Like that's why
Same.
that's why my tolerance is crazy as fuck. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm trying to, I mean, we're in the place right now. I think we're all in the place right now that we were really stressed out because working at the Hall in the Yard, fuck that spot. We were all stressed out there, not getting paid, being gaslit about not being paid. Bitch, you know, I digress.
Whistleblowers, episode 9, I want to say.
Fuck it, bro. Fuck it. You know, I still haven't gotten my taxes because when I did my taxes, the fucking IRS contacted me and told me that whatever number that I claimed wasn't the number that they had. And
May I have a smoke? Because I feel like this is going to be fucking interesting right now.
Like, I don't know if your taxes came back properly or what the fuck, but I know that you also worked. You know what? That doesn't matter. Like, looking at, obviously I'm being told that the numbers are not the same. Like,
Right.
that's already a fucking huge red flag. Like, already they're telling me that it's not matching up when the only other paycheck that I got that was not from that company was working EDC, and it was through DLS events, and they're legit. Like, everything is through, what is that major, it's one of those major payroll companies.
We use Toast
ADP
for ours. ADP.
ADP. I'm talking about the company through EDC or for
Okay.
DLS events.
Oh yeah. No, it was ADP.
They're ADP. So, which is legit. So I'm like, it's not them. It's not them that screwed my shit up. Like, it's not them. And then you remember we used to get those fucking shady little pay stubs. I don't know if you've actually
Pay stubs. No, it looked like
slip.
Yeah, it looked like it just went through the shredder and we got one of the pieces.
No, for sure. Or one of those, like, I lost my dog, take one of my numbers strips, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like
for real.
Like, no, G shit. But it's like, on those, like, the numbers never made sense. They never made sense. And so now that I've been working for companies that legit pay me and like are legit, I've seen the numbers in the taxes and I was like, I was damn right. These taxes were way too high. How am I getting $100 and something taken out, or like, sorry, like over $100 and something, like $200, $300 taken out of my paycheck? That was maybe like $100 or like $150 less than the paycheck before that. What the fuck is going on? Like, you know what I mean? So it was just, it's weird. And then on top of that, there was something else, bro. There was something else. With the pay stub shit, the pay slip. Yeah. You would like look at the other jobs and shit that you work at, and the numbers were not the same in terms of like what your taxes are getting taken out, like at all. So I'm like, bro, not only am I losing money, like did I lose money because they weren't paying me on time and weren't paying me properly, like now you fucked up my taxes too, bro, and they're gone, they're bankrupt, bro. Like I can't do much about that. And
yeah,
like,
we can't do shit.
We can't do shit. So I'm like, I might have to owe money next year. I don't really know, but if I have to pay them, bro, there will be war, bro.
Thanks, fuckers.
Regardless, I digress, bro. They fucking, yeah, that was some crazy shit. But with that stress, again, like, got off. With the stress of all of that, bro. And then on top of that, like you said, the craziness of that spot, because it wasn't just, like, not having proper pay, not being paid on time, talking about, like, a month and no pay. Like, you know what I mean? They then expected you to still come in, right? We were still being harassed for not coming in, right? And, like, gaslit about not coming in, bro. And just be, like, what's the other one? Like, when they make you feel guilty and shit?
I wasn't gaslit. You saw how I handled that shit.
I know. That's not what I'm saying, though. Like, I'm like, you're really in my face right now trying to tell me that, like, what? Like, what are we talking about right now, bro? I'm working for charity right now, bro. It's charity work right now. Hey.
It was essentially a cult in some cases.
We made it work, bro. Let me say it like that, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying. We don't have to verbalize how the fuck we made it work. Just know we made it work. We still made it work and somehow, like, surviving and getting our own, but part of getting our own was getting really fucked up, like, because I didn't want to deal with it. And then on top of that, the amount of, like, violence and, like, drama that was involved in the spot, it's like, bro, I need a drink after that, bro. I just watched, this is my third coworker I've watched, like, fight.
Sick,
like,
sex,
get the ass
violence,
beat.
rock and roll, like, fucking A.
Yeah, bro. I mean, that was like a TV show for show. Like that was something else. But like in digressing again, we didn't have to, but like we didn't know what else to fucking do aside from indulge and like try to not be stressed out about shit. And that in itself led to problems and things that would stress us out more. So it's like, if you think about that, that is the exact definition of the cycle of addiction. Like, that is what addiction is. So like, most times that's where we're all at, is we're so stressed the fuck out that everybody just wants to indulge or get lost in like what is. And I can't even say that's been much different than how it has been forever, dude. Like forever. Like, and on top of that, we can't even say that EDM is only huge now because it's been huge in Europe. It's just new to America. Like it's new to North America.
If I was born neurotypical, I feel like I would enjoy it a hell of a lot more because it does look extremely fun. And I did have a.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I think you just need to get you need to find that balance of where you're lit and where you're not blacked the fuck out, because you enjoy it a whole lot when you're blacked the fuck out.
I don't know what you're talking about. No disclaimers.
But I think you just need to find that little balance, because like I've also overdone it to the point where like I don't. I mean, you see me, I'm a homebody now again.
Yeah.
But it's like, I used to get lost in that shit because it was easy. Like, and it was just, I would just get fucked up enough to, like, just lose myself in the music. But I also am a music head. Like, that's what I like and that's what I want to do. That's what I do. So I fuck with music. So it's like, when I'm in an area with some right vibe, you got the lights, bro. Like, I'm a sucker for fucking neon lights. Just, like, dark room, lights up, fucking just going into music. Like, again, it all depends on the vibe that you're on. But it's like, I got lost in that shit for a while, like, and it does get boring, but it's like, when you're fucked up, do you want to be in your house, like, depressing, alone, watching TV, think about all your problems, or would you rather be in a room where, like, all that's kind of, like, gone, even if it's, like, not really gone, and you might be thinking about it if you get a little too fucked up, but it's like, yeah, I would have preferred, even being alone, I would have preferred to be in the club crying. Like, not crying, that would be dramatic, but like fucked up and in there and just enjoying the music and feeling the music. And again, that's its own pity party. Like, but that's how society encourages that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that is a norm. Like, and it's weird. Like, you know what I mean? It's a weird thing to encourage. Like, there's drinking legal in other countries, but they don't get wasted. Like, you know what I mean? They don't teach kids to get wasted. It's like, here's a glass of wine with dinner. Like, you know what I mean? Here's a beer. Like, you feel me? Like, having a beer with your parent and be like, talking to them about what this is. So, like, they party. I'm not going to say they don't. But, like, they don't get shit-faced at the club. Like, you feel me? There's not that. It's not like that out there. Like,
I think the reason why those factors in those party treats are such are overindulged here, because we constantly live in the quote-unquote fast life, and that's like one of the only ways to make shit slow down. More
or less, like, because that's what's promoted now is the fast life, you feel me? Like, that's what's cool, that's whatever.
Constantly.
Like, but it's not, I wouldn't say that's what makes, like, our society go around. If you think about it, the government has always been like, be a good boy, go to work for the government, be a fucking, what is it, model citizen, you know what I mean? Like, and that just means work your ass off to death for the government. And what do you do when you get off? You want to de-stress. And then what is the leading industries in the country aside from pharmaceuticals? Tobacco, alcohol, and guns. Not mental health, not like anything of that abstract, not anything that's like helpful. It's 3 things geared towards like just some fuck shit.
Well, it's not profitable to help sick people get better.
Yes, it is. Look at the pharmaceutical companies. And it's like, get better. Like, you feel me? Like, it's like, yeah, some sick shit, brother. Sick shit, bro. We live in a society.
Well, homie, we've been at this for about 1 hour and 7. So when it comes to
when it comes to EDM music, when it comes to women and their place in the new world, and also let's say men's attitudes when it comes to that too.
Yeah, I also
And-
want to like just real quick, like this isn't. I feel like a lot of people feel like this is a bash on men because it's a generalization on men, which is ironic because like everyone will talk about fuck bitches and like bitches ain't shit, and it's a very big generalization of how women are. So that double standard is there, but I want to like point out just like that doesn't mean men's rights, and I say that loosely, bro. Like it's just like in the sense of that doesn't mean that men have less rights. That doesn't mean that men are lesser than. That doesn't mean anything. It just means that they have work to do in their privileged positions to educate themselves on how other people feel aside from them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not about just you. Like, I'm not gonna cap and say like men's suicide rates are way higher than women's. Men's fucking men's like men, the most people that die of cancer are men. Like, if I'm not mistaken, prostate cancer is the most prominent form of cancer. Like,
I hope I never find that out.
well, it's get your prostate checked, bro. It's just like that fear of like, you feel me, that homophobia that's like laying in society, the misogyny that's laying in society is also affecting men. Like, people don't realize that these things coincide with one another. You're not allowed to be yourself. The amount of like toxic masculinity that says that men can't cry. There's a reason why they're killing themselves at such a crazy rate. They feel like they're not supported. Like, so it's really just, bro, like education is, and this is from someone that I follow on Instagram, that is, education is elevation, bro. Like, you feel me? Like, you've got to just step up. Like, you're not always going to be right. Like, and not all women are right. I'm not saying that every woman is perfect, bro. Like, we have our toxic things too, and that's either instilled from society or just from lack of self-love, care, whatever the fuck. Like, that doesn't mean they're lesser than. It just means that they have more work to do and more awareness to, you feel me, to keep in mind. Like, y'all need to take care of yourselves and stop giving a fuck about what other men think and what anybody else thinks. You can cry, you can do whatever the fuck, you can be soft, bro. Like, there are feminine men that are not gay. Like, you feel me? Just be your fucking self. Like, that it coincides with the gender thing. Like, there's femininity and masculinity, and everyone has it. You being showing a little bit of feminine traits is not a bad thing. You know what I mean? It's human. So it's like, take care of yourselves, take care of your minds, take care of each other. Like, that's all, bro. Like,
And with all that being said, and also when it comes to the cycle of addiction, to add to all that, flat out, folks, we got nothing. Nani, this has been a very educative podcast, and like I want to say straight up, like, thank you. You took a kid who, well, I say kid, even though I'm a year away
Kid
from
at heart,
30.
bro.
Yeah, I know, right?
Kid at heart. It's
You
not
took
soul.
someone who was very innocent and like fiddle fucking around and finding out like about society and his place in it, and you could have just said fuck this dude, but like you really
man.
helped me out.
You're a
out
good
lot.
kid, bro. That's why I'm like, I fucking gravitate towards good people, which is why I'm like, I have all these opinions about men, but I have men around me that like I can trust 100%, and like a lot of them are, like a lot of my friends are men because I trust them to protect me. You know what I mean? Like, that is something that I respect about men, is like they are protective, but it's when they want to be. You know what I mean? It's like when they have the good intentions, and y'all have always protected me. So like, and I will always, you feel me? Like, I'm always gonna protect you and look out for you.
I was about to
Everything
say
else.
you could kick some people's asses.
It's not
Nope.
even about that. Like, protection isn't just, and that's part of like another thing that y'all need to, like, that men need to think about, is that it's not just about the physical. You know what I mean? Like, there's emotional protection. Like, you feel me? Like,
Yeah.
if you talk about some person's like making you feel a certain way, bro, obviously I'm not gonna get involved if it's like whatever the fuck. But I am gonna like be that support to tell you, like, bro, fuck this bitch and fuck this whatever the fuck, and they should be making you feel like that. And if I gotta go stand up to them for you, like, just to be a homie, like, you feel me? Like, you gotta stand up for yourself, obviously, but like,
Yeah.
if we're in the moment, we're in the whatever, and someone's like berating you, bro, I got your back 100%. Like, you feel me? And I'm gonna defend you. Same as like, if there's some like woman that you're dealing with, and like they're being abusive and like pushing it because they know that you have the respect to not put your hands on women. You feel me? Call me up, bro, because I'm still a girl. I'll get in there, bro. I'll beat their ass. I don't care, bro. Like, I will, like, you feel me? Like, and it's not even about that.
Allegedly.
We're talking hypothetical. Like, we're talking hypothetical. But, no, like, it's just, like, there is other things that are, like, other kinds of protection that have nothing to do with the physical. And it's just, like, You feel me? Like, we'll take care of each other, bro. I guess I'm like, I'll protect you even if it's not physical, bro. Because, yeah.
And let me hype you up. How would you, if at all, how would you like any of the listeners to follow you?
I guess you can do my Instagram, which is like, it's a lips drip silk right now. I wouldn't say my Facebook at all because there ain't nothing important there.
Say less.
I mean, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I have that I use like that.
Real quick, you said you like to work on music. Are you working on anything right now?
I am, but I've always been a person that kind of like, I don't record what I do.
Okay.
And it's not because I don't want to. I just either never had the tools, or you know what? Actually, it's because I didn't want to. Like, because it's like, I've always been really insecure with it. And I've been finding my sound, and like that's just how I prefer to do it. The things that I have had recorded, like, have disappeared. So it's like they just were like got lost. So it's like sometimes you just gotta take signs as to like when things aren't working out to just kind of like do your thing, and that doesn't mean stop making music. So it's like I'm still been writing, haven't stopped writing, haven't stopped. Like, I have recordings in my phone, but it's more like drafts and stuff like that. Like, I say I'm gonna start putting things together real soon. But just, you know, like, you and me, bro, both have said, you know, that life has been kicking our asses right now, bro.
Yeah, no, facts.
So it's like I'm trying to just focus on the structure and the finances and all that stuff to be able to actually be in the place. Right now, I've got all the material. Life been beating my ass, so I've got all the material, and like I've been doing this for years, so it's like I've got it, bro. I've got it all. It's just not put together yet.
Heard.
But I appreciate you asking for sure, and if anything, I definitely want to come back on the show more than once. Have like smaller topics to get like a smaller amount of topics so that we can actually get into them.
Exactly.
And I want to do a little bit more research on that so that I don't like misinformation. I don't like fucking spreading whatever the fuck. I don't like speaking on things that I approximately know about, even if like that's how I pretty much know things is approximately, and then I'll look it up and I'll be like, I remember. You know what I mean? Like, so I would rather like have the research done, have whatever, and even have like notes and shit so that we can get deep into that. And like I'm sure the music shit will come up, so it's like I will keep y'all updated.
So look towards the horizon.
Yeah. Like, I'm working with Sam. Like,
awesome.
Yeah.
Whom we are going to see tonight. Shout out to you, Mr. Gillis.
Shout out to Mr. Gillis.
And the Over Party in general.
Okay.
And if you would like to see what Life on Saturn Productions has cooking in the future, please follow Life on Saturn Comics on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And let me just tell you right now, we have been working on a few new up-and-coming projects, so if you find us in your off hours, please do give us a peep. You will not be disappointed. And if you would like to also see what I personally provide in terms of content, please follow me at Catalyst Jost. That is CATALY 5TJ05T. And with all that being said, folks, please keep your vibes dope, keep your zen flowing, and as always, peace.